What if everything you thought you knew about the origins of civilization was wrong? Seriously, what if the very foundations of human history, the narrative we've all been taught, were about to be completely rewritten? Prepare to have your mind absolutely blown, because today, we're delving deep into one of the greatest archaeological mysteries ever discovered. This is the incredible story of Göbekli Tepe, a site nestled in southeastern Turkey that's forcing us to rethink everything. For centuries, we believed that settled agriculture came first, leading to villages, then cities, and finally, grand monuments. But Göbekli Tepe flips that entire script on its head. This isn't just an old site, it's a mind-bending 12,000-year-old complex. To put that into perspective, it predates Stonehenge by a staggering 7,000 years, and the Egyptian pyramids by more than 7,500 years. These ancient megaliths aren't just stones, they hold secrets. Secrets that could fundamentally change everything we thought we knew about the very dawn of human civilization. So, forget the history lessons you grew up with. Forget the idea of simple, primitive hunter-gatherers. Göbekli Tepe isn't just an archaeological marvel, it's a profound testament that our ancestors were far more advanced, far more organized, and far more spiritually complex than we ever dared to imagine. It shows us that monumental architecture, organized labor, and perhaps even complex religious beliefs existed before the invention of agriculture, before settled life as we know it. This wasn't built by farmers. It was built by hunter-gatherers with an ambition and skill level that defies their supposed technological limitations. Join us now as we embark on an extraordinary journey to uncover the deep, enduring secrets of this awe-inspiring, world-changing site. Get ready to explore Göbekli Tepe, where history begins anew. Now, let's truly set the scene for this extraordinary place. Our journey takes us to the ancient, sun-baked plains of southeastern Turkey, not far from the modern city of Şanlıurfa. Here, rising from the earth like a silent sentinel, is a monumental mound known as Göbekli Tepe, a name that, in Turkish, fittingly means potbelly hill. But don't let the unassuming name fool you. Beneath this hill lies a discovery that has quite literally turned the archaeological world on its head, forcing us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about the very beginnings of human civilization. For decades, this site lay largely undisturbed, an enigma hidden beneath layers of earth. It wasn't until the mid-1990s, thanks to the pioneering work of German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, that the true significance of Göbekli Tepe began to emerge. What Schmidt and his team unearthed was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. Not just scattered artifacts, but a series of massive, meticulously crafted stone circles and T-shaped pillars, buried intentionally, almost reverently, by the people who built them. And the age of this site? This is where your mind truly gets blown. Radiocarbon dating has consistently shown that the oldest layers of Göbekli Tepe date back to an astonishing 12,000 years ago. Just let that sink in for a moment. 12 millennia. To truly grasp the scale of that, consider this. Göbekli Tepe predates the earliest known structures at Stonehenge by a staggering 7,000 years. It was constructed over 7,500 years before the first stones of the Great Pyramids of Giza were even laid. It existed long before the Sumerians developed writing, before the invention of the wheel, before pottery became widespread. This isn't just old. This is ancient on a scale we've rarely encountered, pushing the boundaries of what we considered possible for early humanity. For generations, our understanding of human societal development followed a clear, linear path. The widely accepted narrative, often called the Neolithic Revolution, posited that everything began with the invention of agriculture. The theory was simple. People were nomadic, hunter-gatherers, constantly moving to find food. Then, around 10,000 years ago, they discovered how to cultivate crops and domesticate animals. This led to a surplus of food, which in turn allowed people to settle down, form permanent villages, and eventually develop more complex social structures, specialized labor, and eventually grand architectural projects like temples and cities. It was a logical progression. Agriculture first, then community, then civilization. But Göbekli Tepe shatters that tidy narrative. Here we have an incredibly complex, monumental site, arguably the world's first true temple or sacred complex, built by people who were, by all accounts, hunter-gatherers. They hadn't yet fully embraced agriculture. There's no widespread evidence of domesticated plants or animals at the site during its primary construction phases. They were still living off the land, foraging for wild grains, hunting wild game, and yet, they were capable of organizing themselves on a scale previously thought impossible for such societies. This isn't just a minor tweak to the timeline, it's a fundamental challenge to the very bedrock of archaeology. What if, instead of agriculture leading to settled communities and then to complex structures, the desire to build complex structures, perhaps for communal rituals or spiritual gatherings, actually predated or even triggered the need for agriculture? Think about it. To construct something as massive as Göbekli Tepe, you need a large, organized workforce. You need to feed those people consistently. This monumental undertaking might have provided the very impetus for hunter-gatherers to begin experimenting more seriously with cultivating wild cereals, like wild einkorn wheat, which is native to this region. The communal effort of building and maintaining a site like Göbekli Tepe could have necessitated, or at least accelerated, the transition to a more sedentary agricultural lifestyle. Göbekli Tepe suggests that the spark of civilization wasn't necessarily just about practical survival, but perhaps about something deeper. Shared belief systems, communal identity, and the profound human need to connect with the cosmos, or with something greater than themselves. It forces us to ask, did people settle down because they farmed, or did they start farming because they wanted to settle down and build places like Göbekli Tepe? So what does this monumental shift in understanding mean for our view of early human history? Göbekli Tepe is more than just an ancient ruin. It's an unparalleled window into the lives, beliefs, and rituals of our earliest complex ancestors. It offers us a rare, tantalizing glimpse into a world that existed before recorded history, before the familiar markers of civilization. It's a world where hunter-gatherers possessed not only incredible engineering skill, but also a rich inner life, sophisticated symbolism, and a profound connection to their environment. Imagine these people, small, nomadic groups, perhaps coming together periodically for great feasts and ceremonies at this sacred place. The archaeological evidence at Göbekli Tepe includes vast quantities of animal bones, suggesting massive communal feasting events, perhaps a critical part of bringing diverse groups together and fostering a shared identity around the construction and use of the site. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving in a way that allowed for grand artistic and architectural expression. This site reveals a level of social organization that challenges the notion of primitive hunter-gatherer bands. To quarry these massive stones, to transport them across rough terrain, to carve them with such intricate detail, and then to erect them into precise circles. This required leadership, coordination, and a shared vision. It hints at a societal structure far more complex than a simple egalitarian group, perhaps with shamans, elders, or powerful individuals orchestrating these immense undertakings. Furthermore, the elaborate animal carvings, often depicting dangerous predators like wild boars, fierce aurochs, and cunning foxes, alongside snakes and birds, suggest a deeply interwoven spiritual world. Were these animal totems, representations of deities or spirits? Were they part of a complex mythological narrative that governed their lives? While we may never fully decode every symbol, their presence speaks volumes about the rich internal world and symbolic thought of these early humans. Perhaps most intriguing is the fact that these impressive structures weren't just built and left. They were deliberately and ritually buried over time. Successive layers of construction at Göbekli Tepe show newer, smaller enclosures built on top of older, intentionally backfilled ones. Why would people go to such immense effort to bury what they had just built? Was it an act of reverence, of ending an era, or perhaps to protect the sacredness of the space from future generations? This intentional burial is as much a part of the mystery as the construction itself, suggesting a deep understanding of ritual, time, and perhaps even cyclical renewal. Göbekli Tepe stands as a monumental testament to human ingenuity and the enduring power of shared purpose. It forces us to reconsider the very nature of what makes us civilized. Was it the ability to farm, or was it the capacity to dream, to create and to build something monumental that transcended mere survival. This ancient site is not just a glimpse into the past. It's a profound reflection on the complex, spiritual, and artistic drives that have shaped humanity from its very earliest days. And in the next section, we'll dive deeper into the incredible architectural marvels themselves, the enigmatic megaliths of Göbekli Tepe. Now let's step beyond the incredible timeline and truly marvel at the physical embodiment of Göbekli Tepe's mystery, the megaliths themselves. These aren't just large stones. They are profound testaments to an engineering and artistic prowess that defies our previous understanding of the prehistoric world. As you look at the circular enclosures, you're immediately struck by the sheer scale of the T-shaped limestone pillars. Imagine standing here over 12,000 years ago, witnessing these colossal stones being raised. Some of these pillars tower over 16 feet high, reaching skyward with an imposing presence. And their weight? Individual pillars can weigh anywhere from 7 to 20 tons, with some estimates for the largest ones suggesting even more. Think about that for a moment. 20 tons, moved and precisely placed by people without metal tools, without the wheel, without draft animals. It's an engineering feat that even today would be a significant challenge. The site consists of multiple circular enclosures designated A, B, C, D, and so on. Each enclosure typically features a pair of larger T-pillars at its center, surrounded by a ring of smaller, yet still massive T-pillars embedded in the dry stone walls. The precision of their arrangement is remarkable, hinting at a meticulous plan and purpose. How did they achieve this? Archaeologists believe the limestone was quarried from nearby bedrock using rudimentary stone tools, perhaps basalt hammers and flint picks. The process would have been incredibly labor-intensive, requiring immense physical strength and coordination. Once detached from the quarry, these gigantic stones would then need to be moved to the construction site. This would have involved hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people, using ropes made from animal hides or plant fibers, wooden rollers, and sheer brute force, pulling them across the undulating terrain. And then the final act, raising these multi-ton giants into their upright positions. This would have required ramps, levers, and an acute understanding of physics, a knowledge that hunter-gatherers were, until Göbekli Tepe, not thought to possess to such a sophisticated degree. But it's not just the scale that's astonishing. It's the artistry. Many of these T-shaped pillars are adorned with intricate, deeply carved reliefs. These aren't simple scratches. These are masterful examples of prehistoric sculpture, showcasing a rich symbolic language. We see a pantheon of animals, fierce wild boars bristling with power, cunning foxes with their distinctive tails, slithering snakes seemingly wrapping around the stone, graceful gazelles, powerful aurochs, the ancestors of modern cattle, and various birds, including what appear to be vultures, cranes, and even waterfowl. In some cases, multiple animals are depicted on a single pillar, creating complex, layered compositions. The detail is remarkable. You can see individual scales on snakes, fur on foxes, and the texture of feathers on birds. This level of artistic skill demonstrates not just talent, but a profound connection to the natural world and an advanced capacity for symbolic representation. While the sheer architectural feat is astounding, it's the symbolism etched into these stones that truly captivates the imagination and fuels countless theories. What did these animals mean to the builders of Göbekli Tepe? Were they simply depictions of the animals they hunted and lived alongside? Or did they hold deeper, perhaps sacred or cosmological significance? Archaeologists are still in the early stages of decoding this prehistoric visual language, but several compelling theories have emerged. One prominent theory suggests these animals might represent totemic figures for different clans or groups who converged at Göbekli Tepe. Each group might have identified with a particular animal, and the gatherings at the site served as a means to solidify their collective identity and perhaps engage in shared rituals. Another idea is that these animals embody powerful spirits or deities in their belief system. Perhaps guardians, benevolent forces, or even dangerous entities that needed to be appeased or honored. The frequent depiction of predatory animals, especially snakes, could suggest a focus on the wild, untamed aspects of nature, or perhaps a warning about cosmic dangers. Beyond the animals, we also find abstract designs. The most striking are the recurring H and I-shaped symbols, often seen on the side panels of the central pillars. Their meaning remains elusive. Are they early forms of proto-writing? Indicators of specific celestial alignments? Or perhaps representations of abstract concepts vital to their worldview? The possibilities are endless, and each new discovery adds another layer of complexity to this ancient puzzle. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the T-shaped pillars, especially the central pair in each enclosure, is their subtle humanoid characteristics. Look closely. The broad, flat top of the T can be interpreted as a head, while the vertical shaft represents a body. Some pillars even show rudimentary arms carved in relief down their sides, often with hands meeting over the stomach or groin area, as if clutching something. Some even appear to wear loincloths or belts. These features lead many to believe that the T-pillars themselves are not just decorative, but are highly stylized anthropomorphic figures, representations of ancestors, powerful shamans, deities, or perhaps even celestial beings. If so, then these enclosures are not just places with statues, but places where the very architecture is the deity or ancestor being revered. The implications of this symbolism are profound. It suggests a highly developed abstract thought process and a complex cosmology existed among these hunter-gatherer communities. This wasn't just about survival. It was about understanding their place in the universe, about their relationship with the natural and spiritual worlds, and about expressing those beliefs in a monumental and enduring way. The carvings are not random. They are part of a deliberate, cohesive artistic program that tells a story, even if we are only just beginning to grasp its plot. The ultimate purpose of Göbekli Tepe remains a profound enigma, sparking intense debate among archaeologists. While a definitive answer eludes us, compelling theories offer fascinating insights into the lives of our ancient ancestors. The most widely accepted theory is that Göbekli Tepe functioned primarily as a ceremonial or ritual gathering place, essentially the world's earliest known temple complex. The absence of permanent dwellings, coupled with extensive feasting remains and the sheer monumentality of the structures, strongly suggests a site for periodic, large-scale assemblies. Imagine diverse hunter-gatherer groups converging here for rituals, perhaps rites of passage, ancestor worship, seasonal celebrations, or ceremonies tied to hunting success and spiritual beliefs. The very act of constructing and maintaining such a site would have been a potent ritual in itself, fostering social cohesion and shared identity among varied communities. Another intriguing theory, given the precise orientation of some pillars, posits Göbekli Tepe as an astronomical observatory. Could the T-pillars have aligned with specific constellations or celestial events vital to their calendar or mythology? While unproven, the idea of early humans observing the night sky and integrating this knowledge into their sacred architecture is captivating. Some scholars also speculate about a connection to burial practices, despite the lack of human remains within the structures. Could it have been a place for death rituals, perhaps where bodies were exposed, as suggested by vulture carvings, before being interred elsewhere? Ultimately, Göbekli Tepe likely served multiple purposes, evolving over millennia. It could have been a hub for spiritual gatherings, social networking, idea exchange, specialized craftsmanship, and communal feasting. What's clear is its profound significance, a powerful magnet drawing people together for monumental efforts that transcended mere survival. Perhaps the most enduring mystery isn't just how or why it was built, but why it was so deliberately and systematically buried. Over centuries of use, each enclosure was intentionally filled with rubble and earth, preserving it almost perfectly, allowing new, smaller enclosures to be built atop. Was this an act of ending an era? A sacred preservation? A way to close a powerful place's energy? This act of burial is as enigmatic as the construction itself, adding another layer to Göbekli Tepe's profound mystery. It continues to whisper its secrets, urging us to look closer, question deeper, and acknowledge the extraordinary complexities of a world predating the pyramids, a world we're only just beginning to truly grasp. We've marveled at the incredible age of Göbekli Tepe, and we've explored the enigmatic beauty of its colossal megaliths. But now we arrive at perhaps the most profound question this site poses. Who built it? Who were these extraordinary people living 12,000 years ago, capable of such monumental feats? The answer to this question isn't just a historical detail. It fundamentally redefines our understanding of early human societies. For a very long time, archaeological theory held a clear belief. The kind of complexity we see at Göbekli Tepe, the massive construction, the organized labor, the intricate symbolism, could only emerge after the widespread adoption of agriculture. The idea was that you needed stable food surpluses from farming to support a large, non-food producing workforce, which then allowed for complex social hierarchies and monumental architecture. Hunter-gatherers, by this definition, were thought to be small, mobile, egalitarian groups, constantly moving, with little capacity for such grand undertakings. But Göbekli Tepe stands as a towering, undeniable refutation of this long-held belief. The evidence here overwhelmingly points to its builders being sophisticated hunter-gatherers. They were still relying primarily on wild resources, foraging for abundant wild cereals and extensively hunting wild game, like gazelle and the mighty aurochs. There's no significant indication of domesticated plants or animals during the main construction phases of the site. This means we're dealing with a society that achieved a level of organization, artistic expression, and spiritual depth previously thought to belong only to much later agricultural societies. This realization is truly groundbreaking. It suggests that the impulse for large-scale communal projects, for creating enduring symbols of shared belief, might have emerged before the full transition to farming. Perhaps the very need to gather for such sacred construction actually encouraged the aggregation of groups, and the need to feed those groups for extended periods then spurred the development of agriculture. It completely flips the traditional cause and effect relationship on its head. Göbekli Tepe challenges us to consider that sophisticated societies were not merely a consequence of farming, but perhaps a catalyst for its widespread adoption. So if they weren't settled farmers, how did these hunter-gatherers achieve such an astounding feat of engineering and artistry? The construction of Göbekli Tepe speaks volumes about the advanced skills, profound knowledge, and meticulous organization of its builders. This wasn't some random collection of stones, it was a deliberate, highly coordinated effort. First, the quarrying. They used only stone tools to painstakingly detach these multi-ton blocks from the local limestone bedrock. Then came the transportation. Without wheels or beasts of burden, hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals collaborated, using ingenious methods like wooden rollers and ropes to move these colossal stones across the terrain. And finally, the erection of the pillars. To lift a 20-ton stone upright and embed it securely required an intuitive understanding of leverage and structural stability, pointing to sophisticated planning and synchronized movements. Beyond the engineering, the artistry of the carvings is breathtaking. These deep, often three-dimensional reliefs of wild boars, foxes, snakes, and birds required skilled sculptors working meticulously. This level of craftsmanship and the implied division of labor, where some individuals were artisans and engineers, points to a societal structure that could support and value such specialized roles, moving far beyond basic subsistence. What can we deduce about the social structure and beliefs of these extraordinary builders? The sheer scale of Göbekli Tepe necessitates a form of leadership and hierarchy. It suggests the presence of influential individuals, perhaps spiritual leaders or powerful shamans, who could command the collective efforts of hundreds from various groups. Their belief system, as hinted by the incredible carvings, was undoubtedly rich and complex, deeply connected to the natural world and its spiritual forces. Perhaps one of the most enduring mysteries is not just who they were, but why they abandoned and so deliberately buried this magnificent site. After centuries of continuous construction and use, around 8000 BCE, the site was meticulously covered with earth and rubble. Was it a shift in belief systems? A change in environmental conditions? We don't know for certain, but this act of ritualistic burial is as much a part of their legacy as the impressive stones themselves. The builders of Göbekli Tepe remind us that intelligence, ingenuity, and profound spiritual depth are not the sole domain of civilized societies. They were present, in astonishing measure, in the hearts and minds of our hunter-gatherer ancestors 12,000 years ago. Their story is a powerful testament to the enduring human spirit and a call for us to continuously rethink the origins of our complex world. We've embarked on an extraordinary journey, traveling back 12,000 years to the heart of a mystery that is reshaping our understanding of human civilization. Göbekli Tepe isn't just an archaeological site. It's a profound experience, a silent witness to humanity's earliest monumental ambitions. And while our virtual tour today offers a glimpse, nothing quite compares to standing amidst these ancient megaliths, feeling the weight of millennia around you. If you ever have the chance, I urge you to consider visiting Göbekli Tepe in person. It's now a designated UNESCO World Heritage Site, meticulously cared for and made accessible, allowing you to walk among these ancient wonders and feel the powerful energy of a place that predates so much of what we thought was the beginning. For those unable to travel, I encourage you to delve deeper through the countless online resources, virtual tours, and documentaries available. The story of Göbekli Tepe is still unfolding, and every bit of exploration helps to piece together this magnificent puzzle. Göbekli Tepe stands as an undeniable testament to the incredible ingenuity, spiritual depth, and collaborative power of our earliest ancestors. It's a timeless wonder that reminds us that human ambition and the drive to create something meaningful, something lasting, is not a recent development. It was present in astonishing measure at the very dawn of our complex societies. This site challenges us to constantly question our assumptions, to embrace the unknown, and to recognize the profound, intricate tapestry of human history that stretches back far further than we once dared to imagine. The mysteries of Göbekli Tepe endure, not as roadblocks to knowledge, but as powerful invitations to curiosity. They remind us that the past is not a static, finished story, but a living, breathing narrative, constantly being rewritten by the whispers from forgotten times. So as we conclude our journey through this extraordinary site, I leave you with a profound sense of wonder. What other incredible secrets lie buried beneath the earth, waiting to reshape our understanding of ourselves and our place in the vast, unfolding story of humanity?